Hello, fellow lightworkers. My name is Jill M. Jackson, and welcome to my March 2024 predictions and energy update. All right, there's a lot to cover this month, and it's a really interesting month. When I tuned into it psychically and I channeled some information from my guides about the month, and it's almost split in two, which goes along with the theme of 2024 with a lot of different polarities going on. But when I tune into the energy of the first half of the month, it seems relatively calm. Now, I use that term relatively because, as we all know, the energy and the times that we are in now are quite volatile, and certain days feel extreme, intense, chaotic. These are some terms that myself and other colleagues and light workers are using to describe the energy so far in 2024. However, it's showing me energetically that roughly the first probably 18 days of the month are smoother than it becomes when we get into the later days of this month. Now, we do have the spring equinox. This is a time of planting seeds, a time of creating and co-creating the reality that each one of us wants to reside in. So use this energy and this time of planting the seeds, and know that, especially energetically and astrologically, we have a lot of support for the different seeds that we are encouraged and feel in resonance with planting for the month of March moving forward. Now, when I tune into the energy in the second half of the month, it feels a lot more intense. It feels volatile, and it feels a bit chaotic. What Spirit has been showing me throughout this entire year so far is that we are experiencing different timeline shifts. Wherever our energy is residing and vibrating, this is how our lens is showing us the different events that are playing out. This is why it is more important now than ever before to break out of the proverbial box, to anchor in the knowing that we are more than our physical bodies, and to climb out of the constraints and the box that we have been conditioned to believe that we must stay within. Okay? We are sovereign beings, and we do not have to buy into the mainstream narrative of what the powers that be and the mainstream media want us to believe. That becomes evident now more than ever. So the other interesting prediction that I was shown when I was tuning into the energy of March goes along with one of my predictions for the entire year of 2024, and it has to do with persecution of light workers and persecution of those of us who are shining their light and are sharing their gifts with others, whether that be healers, channelers, psychics, mediums. When I tuned into the energy of 2024, I was shown a potential for an increase in persecution, sort of going back to, if you go back to the witch hunt in our history, or many other times that those who had gifts and were sharing those gifts with others were either unduly persecuted, tried without a proper trial, or shamed, or shut down in some way so that they would not be able to continue sharing their gifts with others. And sadly, as I tune into the energy of March, I am seeing a potential for more of that to occur. This is the reason that the guide showed me this. More and more and more of the masses are waking up to the potential and the knowing that the paranormal is truly becoming the new normal. Therefore, those on the far extremes who are using religion and choosing to persecute and shame and quiet those who are sharing our gifts with others, I see more of an increase in that regard. What my guides shared with us, the wisdom around this is, do not give in to the fear of this. We must stand strong and we must continue sharing our authentic truth and our gifts with others. Okay, now this goes along with another prediction that I have that again goes along with one of my annual predictions, but my guides are encouraging me to really talk about it as we enter the spring equinox. What I channeled about was this. Years and years ago, we were encouraged as light workers and spiritual teachers to witness to others, to help others, do whatever we can to help them break out of the constraints and to have the courage to start tapping into their own intuition and to start speaking up about their beliefs, how some of what we have been taught and spoon-fed over the years is not the reality, is not the paradigm that we are in. However, what my guides channeled going into 2024 is that we must transmute our teachings through living our lives rather than trying to talk others into believing what we believe. The time is now for us to walk forward on our path. The other aspect that goes along with this is regarding those who feel like they need to remain in toxic relationships and toxic friendships to try and help sway that person into understanding that there is a new paradigm. But it is not our place any longer to stay in toxicity in hopes of changing someone else's journey, because our journey is our own. All right, let me just change directions now and talk about a prediction that I made quite some time ago that I am watching unfolding. The prediction was regarding King Charles, and what the prediction was is that he will be one of the shortest reigning kings of all times. I do feel that he will be giving up the crown within the next 18 months. Now, timing is challenging sometimes to get accurate because everybody has free will and there's so many moving parts here. But right now, as I tune into this energetically, it does feel like the timeline that I am being shown is that William takes over the crown within the next 18 months. Now, when I tune into the US political election, I am being shown the same information about surprises coming in. Things are not as we are being shown by the mainstream media. I do see more and more interest and more people claiming to be independent or unclaiming of a particular party. I see a huge uptick or increase in those people who are not wanting to align with one of the only two main political parties in the United States. I do not feel that an independent wins the election for 2024. However, I do feel that a lot of momentum is gained in this area. All right. And closer to the time of the election, later summer, I see a lot of surprises coming out of left field. And I know that that seems far-fetched because the primaries are coming up, but I just keep being told by Spirit that there's turns, there's surprises, there's things that were not being shown right now that change the landscape of what things look like for the 2024 US presidential election. All right, now going back to the overall energy of March, I do see a lot more earth changes. I do see, sadly, an earthquake around 6.9 or 7.0 on the scale. I am feeling like this is not in the United States. So it's the opposite hemisphere, but if we can join together and send energy that the effects of that are lessened, that would be wonderful. I do feel like there are timeline shifts happening more and more, and especially as we continue going into the energy of March, I feel like we are going to be experiencing timeline shifts. What do I mean by that? Timeline shifts happen when we jump dimensions. And for those of you who are experiencing this, I would love your comments below. But when we jump dimensions, things that we are experiencing are things are not there 1 minute. We look away and we look back and they are there. We look away again and they're gone. Okay, there's objects appearing and reappearing. There are people, shadows, animals that we are seeing, and then we turn and look and turn back around and they're gone. This is happening as we shift dimensions. It's going to continue getting more and more prevalent in our experiences. And this is why it's more important now than ever to join in with your tribe, to join in with those of like mind. And speaking of that, I'm super excited to have just unveiled my High Vibe Tribe membership community. Be sure to check out the link below and join in a sacred and safe environment where we will have forums and we will be able to discuss these topics with other light workers. Okay, so back to the energy of March and the predictions. This is pretty much what I'm being shown for the current energy. The other thing, when I asked my guides to give me some downloads on what we may be experiencing as we continue moving through the month of March 2024. And what my guides showed me were that more and more people are going to be getting synchronicities and signs and downloads about relocating to other areas and about specifically traveling to other areas. The reason this is happening is because of the shifting of energy on our planet. Many light workers have a blueprint where they are being called to go to different areas to help shine our light and to help connect with those others who are part of our soul's plan, who are part of our soul contract. So I see more and more of that happening in the month of March. So if you start getting inclinations to either move or to travel, I highly encourage you to listen to that guidance. We lead retreats to sacred places around the globe. If you start getting an inclination to visit these portals, to visit these Mother Earth chakras, listen to that and either join one of our retreats or one of the other many spiritual retreats that are offered each year. Because when we travel to these sacred sites, we are being activated. Our DNA is being activated in a way that was not possible without experiencing energy shifts. Okay, and this is what happens when we visit these portals in these sacred sites around Mother Earth. So if you are being guided to travel, whether it's by car, by airplane, a spiritual cruise, whatever it is that you are being guided or you start getting a sign or a synchronicity on, I really encourage you to listen to that, because my guides are saying during the month of March, and especially after the equinox, more and more people are going to be getting nudges, spiritual nudges from their guides to experience other areas. Because what happens is when we experience other cultures, this also helps awaken us to new paradigms as well. Something shifts, something unlocks in us when we experience other places, other energies, other cultures, other people. So I see more of that happening later in March of 2024. In closing the March energy updates, I send you with so many blessings. Stay safe, everyone, and continue speaking your authentic truth. Namaste and many blessings until next time. Be sure to hit the subscribe button below.